How are you, my fans, sneak peepers, and curious friends? I am difficult and demanding. If you want to know my real name, then hold still, and I might bring your wish to fruition. Before we begin, you can find this podcast show in iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Blueberry, Google Play Music, TuneIn, YouTube, and Stitcher. This is the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real, uncensored, and shooting straight between the eyes. The third eye, that is. I am going to hit you with explicit truth. This solo show is outrageously honest and keenly witty with a view into life. Yes, I said life. That's what we do every day when we wake up from sleeping. We are living life. Well, some of us at least. Let's get something straight. Really, really straight. I am truly, actually, habitually, and shamelessly difficult and demanding. And I completely own it. Now, I don't ask for much because I expect and receive it all. I firmly believe that if you expect shit, you will receive shit. What does that mean? Well, it means expect nothing but the best and don't settle for less. As always, I, your host, Tara, am keeping it real and uncensored. I've missed you. It seems like forever and ever. Are you happy I'm back? You have to be, because it's me. So let's get you into my world and unplug you from your life and dive all into episode 62 of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast. What do you see? Look at him. What do you see? Is he unlike any other man? Do you feel his presence? How does it feel? It should feel like he's consuming you, washing over you. He's unlike any other man because he can command you with his eyes, with a simple glance, and cause you to submit and surrender. Each time he's with you, he's cultivating you for his pleasure and possession. He's unlike any other man. He's in his own league. So stroke his ego, stoke his pride, make him feel like a goddamn god. So in turn, he can make you his goddess. Before I begin, I am going to do a call out. What's a call out? Well, it's not a shout out. I am calling out you motherfucking lurkers. If you have entered my world, then be honest with yourself about it. You want to be here, and you know I want you here, so follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Finally, climb aboard and enjoy the entire show because I am giving you plenty of ridiculous honesty. Once the podcast episode ends, I am keeping it going on my Instagram page at Difficult and Demanding and on my Twitter page at Mrs. D and D. What do you see? When you look at him, what do you see? His walk is unlike any other man. His confidence is so astounding. Do you feel his presence in the room? He turns around. He looks at you. His cold, hard exterior is looking at you, and it's masking a deep pull of endless passion and adoration. But he doesn't let any woman access that part of him. Not just any woman, only someone really special. Close your eyes. Can you smell him? His scent is so intoxicating, and it still haunts you when he's not with you. It's so consuming. You are looking over your shoulders and hoping and praying that he's there with you again. But he is not. It's a spirit reminding you he's never far away. Here he is still looking at you, with a seductive, mischievous, intriguing smile on his face. His eyes are telling you what his lips cannot say. He's telling you, I'm coming to you. I'm coming for you. When you see his eyes, no one else exists. Just him. As you anxiously await his presence in front of you, you're wondering, how long will it take? How long is he going to make you wait? So you keep looking at him. You look at the width of his shoulders. Your eyes glide to his chest. You can see every contour of his muscles. When he lifts his arms, his shirt rises just 2 inches and reveals his abs. You're praying for some restraint. You can't stop staring. You can't stop imagining when you will be able to run your index finger along his waistline. He's so strong, yet his hands are so soft. His voice sends pulsing tremors through your body. He can command you with a simple glance, and you will just surrender. You will surrender without a thought, no hesitation. His energy washes over you and melts away your inhibitions. Oh boy, here he comes. You're trying to hide your excitement. You're trying to be so cool, calm, and collected. Your heart is racing. Your mouth is watering. And you're praying he doesn't know his full power over you. Because if he finds out, then what do you think will happen? Because you're hoping and praying he knows how to cherish you. Yeah, you're hoping he knows how to cherish you and cherish your heart. He's a man unlike any other man. You can't stay away, no matter how hard you try. You wonder, what type of man is he truly, really? He captures your undivided attention and brings you to life. What kind of man causes you to blossom to a full woman? What kind of man invokes part of you that you didn't even know existed, or you thought it was a figment of your imagination? Every moment he's with you changes you forever. He's cultivating you for his pleasure and complete possession. Pleasure and complete possession. He's showing you no man can or will adore and desire you like him. He's unlike any other man. He's in a league of his own. He's the sexiest, the hottest, the strongest, the smartest, the funniest, the most charming, the most loving, attentive, intriguing, successful, powerful, and the greatest lover. What do you think about that? You would love to have that, don't you? Yeah, it sounds very intriguing. That's what every woman wants, and that's what every man strives to be. What do you think about that? What you want as a woman is what every man deep down strives to be. Now, you're probably sitting here thinking that I'm bullshitting you. You think I'm making this up. Let's assume for a short while that I'm telling you the truth. Every man wants to be the sexiest, the hottest, the strongest, the smartest, the funniest, the most loving, the most desired, the most attentive, intriguing, successful, powerful, and greatest lover that you ever had. How does that make you feel? And what does that make you think? Naturally, the bulk of you saying, it's not true, it's not real. Men are dogs, they're no good, they're liars, they're cheaters, and all these different things, right? That's naturally what's going through your head. And then men know that's what you're thinking. So they're thinking, why should I even try? Why should I even begin? Why should I even initiate a thought? It's not worth my while. So we're going to get started. As men, can each one of you see you're in a league of your own? That's what I'm asking. Each and every man that's listening to me right now, I'm asking you, can you see that you are in a league of your own? I've perplexed you, haven't I? Because you never even thought about that. You're too busy winning and achieving. That's what your focus is on. Competing with others. You can only compete with someone when you are in the same league. So I'm asking you, have you ever considered the fact that you are in a league of your own? Because if you are in a league of your own, that means you have no competition. That means you have already won. That means you have already achieved. Now, what do you think about that? You haven't thought about it that way. Yeah, because we're so busy putting ourselves in this pool of competing with others to show that we're greater, we're stronger, we're smarter, we're more powerful. We must win, we must achieve, we must be successful. But if I'm telling you, you have no competition, what the fuck do you do then? Oh, you need competition. What is life without competition? What is life without comparing yourself? But let me ask you this. If each man, each one of you guys are unique or different, how can you ever compete with somebody else? And how can someone else compete with you? You're playing a fool's motherfucking game. You're playing a fool's game. There is no one, nothing that's like you. So if there's no one or nothing that's like you, how is it even feasible, viable, possible for you to compete against someone who is not your equal? Listen to what the fuck I said. I said most men, if not all men, are not your equal. And I'm saying that about each and every man. So if each one of you go by the premise that you have no equal, you have no competition, then what is your motherfucking problem? If I'm telling you, you are in a league of your own, you are in a class of your own, you are above the rest and all others, what do you think? Oh, naturally you think, how is that possible? How can we have so many people at number one? Why can't we have many people at number one? If you in your own realm, you in your own world, you are focusing on you, why can't each one of you be number one? Why can't you? Because there can only be one person at the top? It all depends on how you view things. But what I'm asking all of you to remember, because I think a number of y'all struggle with feeling inadequate and unappreciated. So if I'm telling you to try to change your thoughts and possibly consider that you are in a class of your own, you are a league of your own, there is no one, nothing that can compare or compete with you. That in itself should put hair on your motherfucking chest. That in itself should swell your goddamn head. The one that's above your shoulders and one that's below your motherfucking waistline. What you said, what I said is what the fuck you heard. Your heads, both heads should be swelling on that shit. I'm telling you, you are in a realm, a league of your own. You have no competition. Now, I know there's a part of you that's saying that's some bullshit, and that you need to work on that shit on your own. But if you can take a moment to fantasize about what the fuck that is like, about having no one who is your equal, you are above the rest, always and forever. Why would you shy away from that? Why would you take away with that? Why would you diminish or marginalize that? And even if you think it's not a reality, take that shit as a motherfucking fantasy and see how that makes you feel. And when you don't feel your best, you remember what the hell I said and you go back to that shit each and every time. You are in a league of your own. Now, can you see the possibilities with that? Can you see the endless power and potency of changing your point of view as a man and seeing that you are in a league of your own? Because when you see that you're in a league of your own, that increases your magnetism, your attractiveness, your desire, your confidence. It changes how you walk, how you think, how you interact. It changes the energy you give off in attracting other women. You see, when you walk like you are in a league of your own, you walk like there's no motherfucking equal, that really changes the number and the quantity, the quantity and the quality of the women that are attracted to you. You will make women do double and triple motherfucking takes when you pass the fuck by. All by changing your attitude and how you view things. That's some powerful, potent shit. And why in the hell would you walk away from an opportunity to feel like that? Now, I have a question for women. I want you all to take a step back. Take a few steps back. Because I want to make sure that your line of sight, your view is crystal clear. Can you see a man? And you're thinking, hell yeah, I can see a man. I see them all the fucking time. What's so special? What's so new about them? But you're not understanding me. Looking at someone and seeing someone are two different things. Can you see a man? Well, let's take another step back. Can you see a person? Do you see your damn self? Can you see who you are, all that you are? Because if you can't see yourself, you definitely can't see another person, and you definitely can't see a man. So I'm asking you, can you see what a man is and all that he is? Because it's not easy to do. To see a man, that means you have to be able to see yourself as a goddamn woman. And we struggle with that now, don't we? Now, the next question I have to ask you is, do you want to see a man? Yeah, you're saying, why wouldn't I want to see a man? No. A number of women don't really want to see a man. And when I say see a man, I mean what a man is and what he's supposed to be and how he's supposed to be doing things. Do you want to see a man, a real man in his truest, realest form? Can you see it? And do you want to see it? Because to see it is something that's spectacular, it's marvelous. And when you see it, it actually causes a change within you. A change that you may not want, a change that you may not be willing to accept. But I will get into that change a little bit later. Next, I want to ask women, and this is something that's going to pique every man's ear. As women, do you love men? Do you love men? And you're saying, yes, I love men. No, when I say love a man, you have to love everything that makes a man a man. And too many women bitch, moan, complain, and nag about men. How they are, what they do, how they do it, why they do it. They don't understand. You don't like it. Do you love men? Because when you love a man, it changes how you interact with the man. It changes how you attract men. It changes how many men flock the fuck to you. It changes how men want to sweep you the fuck off your feet and how they're mesmerized by you. But if you don't love men and all that there is, as far as what a man has, what he has to give, how he is, if you don't love that shit, it comes across in your demeanor, in your speech, and actually your interactions of what you experience day to day. You have to love men, to see men, Because when you love men, you see men, you understand men. And when you understand men, you get what the fuck you want from them. And they eagerly give that shit to you. Do you understand? Listen to what I said. When you love men, you can see men. And when you see men, you understand men. And when you understand men, you know exactly what to give men. And when you give them what they need and what they want, they will give you the goddamn world eagerly. You won't have to beg. You won't have to nag. You won't have to bitch, moan, or plead. They will serve that shit up to you before you even motherfucking ask. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you have to genuinely love men. That means you got to get rid of a lot of bullshit that you have in your mind about what a man is, how they are, what they should be. You got to get rid of that shit. You have to love men. Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, what do you love about them? So you're saying, hell yeah, I love men. Okay. What do you love about them? Now you don't know how to answer that question now, do you? Is it their hands? Is it their voice? Is it their walk? Is it their physique? Is it their mannerisms? What is it about men that you love about them? Because you got to be able to answer that question. Because if you know what you love, you know what you like, then you know what the fuck you can appreciate. When you know what you can appreciate, then you can share and communicate that information to the man that you, or the men that you are enjoying. We don't understand the power of appreciation. The power of appreciation can have a man doing contortionist moves for you. But you got to be genuine and authentic with that shit. They have to know, trust, and believe that what you're saying or what you feel is genuine. So what do you love about them? You should create a list about the nuances about them that you enjoy, you relish, you appreciate, and you want to see more of. What I would say, accept all of them. The parts you think you like, the parts you think you dislike, any and everything, accept all that there is in regards to men in general. Now, there may be some motherfuckers that you can't stand in general. That may be a personality conflict. That's cool. But what I'm asking you, love men. Because they can feel when a woman genuinely loves men. That makes you very seductive, very tempting, very enchanting. And I think that's what all women strive to be. Now, women, do you think a man can be like a woman? You were like, of course not. A man can't be like a woman. So if a man can't be like a woman, why do we constantly have expectations of a man to behave like a woman, to think like a woman, to speak like a woman, to act like a woman? If you want a woman, be with a woman. If you don't want a woman, then a man needs to be a goddamn man, and you need to allow him to do that. If you cannot accept that a man is a motherfucking man, then you need to switch teams and go be with a woman. Now, if you don't want a woman, then you need to evaluate what the fuck your issue is with men, loving men, seeing men, and appreciate them for how they are, how they're naturally wired. A man can never give you what another woman gives. And if you have a man that's doing that shit, okay, it won't last for long. Because that's not who he really is. And you may think I'm full of shit. I'll take that title. But I can guarantee you that act that you have, that shit won't last, because it's draining to a man. It's draining for a man to pretend to be like a woman, because that is not who they are. So why do you want a man to treat you like he's a woman? Yes, a number of us have this idea that a man should treat you in a certain way, that he should love you in this way. And if he doesn't love you in the way that you want to see or how you love him, then naturally there must be something wrong with him. We as women cannot understand how there is a difference between men and women. We think that men are flawed because they think differently, they feel differently, they act differently. We have trouble comprehending their actions and their words. So naturally what we try to do, because we want to understand, we start chipping away, molding and melting them to get them to be some version of us as a woman, because we understand women. We know how to relate to women. We don't know how to relate to a man. So if you can't relate to a man, instead of you learning how to relate to a man as a woman, you naturally start molding the man to pick up behavior and mannerisms that are conducive to what you get from your motherfucking girlfriends. How does that work? How does that seem? How are you going to transform someone's complete nature to be something they are not, just because you lack the skills and the awareness to interact with him in a manner that's suitable for a man and woman being together? And then you want to know why he's disinterested, why he's checked the fuck out, why he's not around, why you're constantly nagging him. Because when you force someone to be something they're not, they become resentful. They become disinterested. They feel like you don't love them for who they are. Now, they may never tell you this. And all you may receive is a heavily disconnected man who is either distracted or delayed in getting home. Men and women in general want the same things, but how you get those things are completely different. And once we can master that shit, it will help things make a lot more sense. But men or women are different. They're supposed to be different because we balance one another out. But women, we don't speak a man's language. And when there is a woman that speaks a man's language, women in general become very jealous, very judgmental, very skeptical, very insecure when there's a woman around them who has mastered the art in engaging with the man, because that woman is very attractive, very tempting, very alluring, and she's never without an entourage of admirers around her. So as women, what's your problem with men? A number of us have really bad attitudes when it comes to men. You mention a man and how they are and the things they do, and you have insult after insult after insult, judgment on top of judgment on top of judgment. You basically do a peanut butter spreading of what all men are and what all men are about. Women, we have this underlying current of distrust, unhappiness, resentful, insecure, unloving, unappreciative. And now you don't like what the fuck I'm saying, and I can understand that. But the fact that you don't like what I'm saying means I hit a goddamn nerve. A lot of women are angry at men, and they don't fully understand what the fuck they're angry about, and they don't fully understand what the issue is. They can't relate to the fact that maybe there's nothing wrong with men. Maybe the problem is our belief system, our strategies, and our tactics are flawed in regards to dealing with men, which is why we are constantly failing and not able to communicate. There's a form of disconnect, and you are basically disgruntled, unhappy, and unfulfilled. Why are we threatened by men? Why are we angry with men? Why are we distrustful with men? And you're saying, why are we angry? Why are we distrustful? Because they lie, because they cheat, because you have to nag them. They don't pay attention to you. They don't talk to you. They don't make you feel wanted, heard, and understood. And I'm saying that's true. That's fair. That makes sense. But let me ask you this. If you want to bake a cake, Do you put that cake in the motherfucking microwave? No, you would put it in the oven. So if you know better not to put a cake batter in the microwave and put it in the oven, that the same thing goes with your relationship. Why are you constantly trying tactics that work with the woman and applying them to a man, and you are upset because you are not getting the same results? You're getting different results. So if you're doing some shit that's not working, why the fuck do you keep doing it? Oh, because you read an article or something like that that told you that's how it should be and that's how it should work. And if it's not working that way, that means your man is flawed. Why do we think that men are flawed? Men are how they're supposed to be. Women are how we're supposed to be. And we have to figure out a way to speak each other's language to get what we need and want from the other. I've spoken this in a number of episodes. The happier you go about making someone else, making them blissful, fulfilled. Do you know how powerful that is? When you go out of your way to bring someone such joy and happiness, do you know what they will do for you? Do you know what they will give you? Do you know how much they will cherish you? And this is assuming that you are in a healthy, balanced relationship. We don't understand that. And if we do understand it, we cannot sustain it. You cannot sustain it because you don't understand your mate. You don't understand the male energy. You don't understand the female energy, and you don't understand how the two go the fuck together to make beautiful music. You have women sucking away at how a man is supposed to be. And when you suck away with how a man is supposed to be, he's naturally not going to give you what you need. And that is a cycle, a dysfunctional cycle that's going to continue and eat away at the foundation of your relationship, which is why a number of women are unhappy, because you keep trying to put your key that should be in the car ignition. You're trying to put your car keys in your front door, and the shit doesn't work. It doesn't match. It's not going to work. So instead of us getting a clue and trying to figure out how we can do this shit better, we're naturally going to blame the man because they are less emotional and they are less talkative about their emotions. So since they cannot cope with their emotions and since they cannot talk about their emotions, we naturally assume there's something wrong with them. But you see, men don't have a problem with being men. It's the women that have problems with men. So if you got a problem with the man, that means the man is not the problem. That means you got the motherfucking problem. Now, a really smart woman will figure out how to resolve her issues so she can live a happy, passionate, desirable life. But that takes work and reflection. And most of y'all motherfuckers are lazy as goddamn hell. So you're going to keep repeating the same cycles over and over and over again as far as what you are receiving from a relationship. We all say we want a happy, fulfilling relationship. But what the fuck you doing about it? Are you bringing your A game? Are you understanding the playing field? What you should do, what you should not do to get what you want? No. So that's what I'm saying. You say you want something, but saying you want it and going after it and getting that shit are two different things. Now, as women, we have a tendency not to listen to a man or to steal his voice away. Why do we treat men, grown men, like children? And you're saying, well, he can't communicate like me. He can't talk about his feelings and feel all his feelings. And that is how a child behaves. But I think the whole thought premise that you have is heavily flawed. Why are we assuming that a man needs to process emotions the way that a woman processes emotions? Why do we assume that a man needs to think in the same way that a woman thinks? In life, there's balance. There's yin and yang. Our spectrum of emotions as women are that way to balance out men's need or ability to keep an even plateau. Our huge spectrum is balanced out by men being even-keeled. Our ability to be intuitive and use our words to articulate things are that way to help soften or to help us understand really what a man is saying when he speaks so succinctly and so clearly and concisely. We're not meant to be the same damn way. But here's the trick that we all don't remember, or I wouldn't say we don't remember, we don't know. All the things that we have as women, our ability to feel, our ability to communicate, those are the fundamental tools that we should be using to get what we need and want from a man. The funny thing is, we're using those tools in the wrong way, which is why we're getting the wrong results. Our ability to use our words, if used in the right way, can stoke and stroke a man to be so eager to please, make him so eager to please you and to make you happy. You will be astounded by this. All by changing your point of view and how you approach things, you will get a different result. So we need to stop assuming just because a man likes to keep an even keel, that one, he doesn't have emotions, or two, if he does have emotions, he is inadequate or inept because he cannot feel all those things and get in touch with them. He's not built to feel all those things because he's not supposed to feel all those things. He's only going to feel as much as he needs to feel, and he's going to move the fuck on. So instead of berating him, marginalizing him, and diminishing him as though he is some type of imbecile buffoon, you should appreciate the fact that he is this way to help balance you out. He is this way to help bring you off an emotional mental cliff when your hormones are all over the place. We have to change our point of view and our perspective. And we have to listen to what he says. Just because he speaks with less words, it does not mean he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Just because he doesn't use a lot of adjectives, that does not mean he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. We have to understand men and women are different. We're supposed to be different. But I don't know how or when we as women started to shackle men, minimalize men, take away from men being men. We have basically made it a crime on some level for a man to be a man. We steal his voice. We talk over him. And I think this is some cultural, some deep society issues that we have where we are ashamed of men, distrustful of men, wary of men. We don't understand the role of a man in our life. And this whole thing plays out in so many different ways, and it really doesn't have to. Why is it hard for you to listen to a man? Because you don't like what he says? And you don't like how he says it? But there's always a solution around that. You change your approach, he will change his approach. And you're thinking, why I got to do all the motherfucking work? Why can't he just do it? And that is where I talk to you about balance, yin yang, men and women. Women, we have to learn the art of how to be a goddamn woman. Because when you know the art of how to be a woman, then you know how to stroke, how to poke and prod a man in the most loving, respectful, appreciative way that will make him naturally unfold and give you what you want. Yes, this is what the fuck I said. There is a way for women to basically rev a man's engine up, to make him give you automatically on his own accord everything you need and want without you having to nag him, pressure him, coach him, none of that shit. A man already knows what he needs to do for a woman for the most part to make her happy. All you got to do is turn the fucking engine on and rev that shit up. But if you don't know how to find the key,
where to put the key, how to turn the engine on, and how to rev that shit up, you will be disappointed. You will be disgruntled. You will be unfulfilled, and you will be bitching, moaning, and nagging, which will make your problems even bigger, bigger, and bigger. So why do we feel a need to change a man? We've picked some advice up from people that have told us that men are flawed, men need to be changed, men, their ways are animalistic, they're barbaric, they are simpletons, they don't know nothing, they don't have nothing, they shouldn't get nothing, and it goes on and on and on. We have generations of women being angry, unsatisfied, bitter, and nagging. And we want to know why men find us so unattractive. Men are repulsed by us. Men are going in another direction where they get warmth and attention. Everybody wants to feel good, including a woman. So why do you think that you turning around and trying to change a man, he's going to jump up for joy and say, yay? You're changing a man, you're basically telling him he's not good enough. You're basically telling him that you don't appreciate him. You're basically telling him you don't want him. What person wants to be told that I don't want you, I don't desire you, I don't appreciate you, I don't respect you? So when you're sitting around trying to mold a motherfucking man to be what you want, I would tell you, you got the wrong goddamn man. Because if you were the right man, you wouldn't need to change him or mold him at all. So either you accept the guy for who he is, or you let his ass go and you move the fuck on. But when you try to mold and change a man, you try to dupe and manipulate him, you are basically killing your relationship. You're killing his desire for you. You're killing future passion, and you're killing the relationship. Accept him or don't. But leave him the fuck alone. He's a grown ass person. If he wants to change himself, guess what? He will do that shit. So why do we have a problem or we hate men? We've been listening to some wrong people for a long goddamn time. And I'm not saying that women, we should not have rights and have a voice. We should do so very well. But we have to learn the art of how to exercise our voice and when, and in what fashion to do so. When you're engaging with a man, there's a way that you need to behave to get the results that you want. There's a way that you need to behave as a woman to get what you want from other women. So you have to play to your audience. But if you're assuming this one cookie cutter approach, one fit all approach is going to work with getting what you want from a man, you are sorely mistaken. It's not going to work that way. It does not work for him. It will never work for him. Which is why you're not getting what you want, which makes you angrier and angrier and angrier. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy about you thinking men are useless, lying, dirty, dog ass cheats. And that's not true. Some are, but so are some women. You have to figure out what side you're on in regards to men, whether you love them or you hate them. If you hate them, it's going to come across in the men that you attract and your type of experiences. But if you love a man just for the fact that he's a man, and then you start going on his individual qualities and characteristics, you give off an energy and an aura that is unbelievable. Animal magnetism. But you got to think about that shit, and you got to be genuine about it. Why are we as women uncomfortable with boosting a man's ego? Yes, we have this notion that a man's ego is horrible. A man's ego is something that needs to be put and checked and kept at ground level. And if you don't do that, then a man basically becomes this horrible monster. I hate to blow this to you. That's who the fuck a man is. A man is a fucking beast on the inside because he's supposed to be a fucking beast on the inside. So when you're trying to take a beast and domesticate that son of a bitch, you are basically killing the essence of what makes a man a goddamn man. So if you want to take a beast, a wild fucking ferocious beast, and make him a domesticated kitten, you shouldn't be complaining about your dead lump of a piece of wood, husband or boyfriend, because you're killing his life force. You're killing his energy. You should not be afraid of his ego. You should not be afraid of his pride. You should not be afraid of that inner beast. You should stoke and stroke that motherfucker to make it as big as it can be. The better a man feels, the happier he is. And the happier he is, the more happy he is willing, ready, and able to make you. It is nothing wrong with inflating a man's ego. There's nothing wrong with stroking a man's pride. You know what? Stroke his motherfucking ego and whatever else you need to stroke to get what the fuck you want from him. Because if you're happy, life is better. So if you can figure out a way, a trick to make yourself happy and guarantee your happiness, why would you shy away from that? Just because you read some stupid ass shit saying a man's ego is a crime, a man's ego is wrong. No, a man's ego is what it's supposed to be. A smart woman will make that motherfucker feel like a goddamn god. Did you hear what I said? I'm going to repeat myself. A really smart, feminine woman will know the value of a man's goddamn ego and pride. And she would stroke and stoke that shit to the biggest beast fire possible. Because when a man feels like a man, the ultimate man, when you make him feel like a goddamn god, he's going to look for the source that gave him this vitality, that gave him this power, that gave him this validation, that gave him this appreciation, that gave him this respect and gave him that strength. And he's going to redirect his focus on you like you are his prey and work very hard to make you happy because you have given him the world and the beyond. Don't be afraid of a man's ego. Welcome that motherfucker. Say hello to that son of a bitch. Make it fierce. Make it ferocious. Make it feel powerful. Make it feel strong. Have him walking down the street like a motherfucking peacock with his feathers out. That's how you want your man to feel. Chest out, head held high, and walking like he was the last man on motherfucking earth. When you can give a man that and make him feel like a goddamn god, girl, do you understand the passion, the desire, and things that he will have for you? You won't be able to take it all in, and you will feel like a little girl over and over again. Boost his ego. Inflate his pride. You think you're lying? So the fuck what? If he's willing to make you happy and that's all you have to do and that shit is free, do that shit all day and all goddamn night. Why do we expect a man to cherish us and make us feel like a woman? Yeah, we don't want to stroke his pride. We don't want to stroke his ego. We don't want to show our appreciation, admiration. But then you expect him to cherish you. How that shit's supposed to work? You want him to give you love and romance, but you don't want to stroke his goddamn ego because you think it's a crime to have pride. Whatever. If it's a crime, whatever. If he's happy, he's making you happy. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the only motherfucking thing that matters. If he needs his dick stroked, his ego fucking stroked and stoked, you do that shit. A happy man will jump through hoops of fire and walk over fucking hot coals for your ass. What more passion, desire, and romance do you need at that point in time? Huh? It's simple as that. You got to get rid of these fucking fake bitch ass notions that we have in our head about women, about what we should or should not do when it comes to man. No, you make that motherfucker feel like a wild goddamn wildebeest. And then you lay there while Tarzan comes and gets you. You lay there and act like a fucking damsel in distress and let him come get you. Now you're saying that's sexist. Maybe it is or it's not. I can tell you this. There'll be a smile on my motherfucking face. What's going to be on your face? You got to know your role and you got to play your goddamn part. If you don't know your role and you can't play your motherfucking part, we already know how your life is going to go. Just look around. It's how it's going right now. Why do we say we want a real man, but you really want him to behave like a woman? Yes, a lot of us say we want a man. But when a man is being a man, you complain about what it means for a man to be a man. You don't like his communication approach. You don't like how he focuses and how he approaches things in life. You don't like what makes him him. That's why I asked you earlier, do you love men? Because to love men, you got to see men. When you see men, you can understand men. When you understand men, you know how to communicate men. And then you know how to get the fuck what you want from a man. You want a man to communicate to you like he's a woman. He can't give you that. But he can give you some shit that another woman can't give you if you knew how to tap the fuck into his treasure box and get that shit. A man will never be able to be a woman. All he can be is what he's supposed to be. And you need to get the fuck out of the way and let him do that shit. Don't be scared by his inner beast. It may seem mean. It may seem fierce. It may seem ferocious. It may seem dominating and controlling. But any woman who wants real passion and desire, she wants a man to take the fuck over and shows who the fuck is boss. He can't show you who the fuck is boss if you're treating him like a bitch ass motherfucker. So what I'm telling you is stop treating our men like bitch ass fools, bitch ass little children, and make them feel like the man, the God that they are. And watch how they transform, and watch how the fuck your relationship transform. Why are we reluctant to let men bring out that beast within them? Because we've been taught that it's wrong for men to have these inner animalistic primal needs. We're taught that men are barbaric and they don't know anything better or different. We're taught that men are supposed to be a certain way. No, you want to awaken that fucking beast in him. You said, what if it gets out of control? He knows how to control that beast. He knows the time and the place to do certain things. But the fact is, you want him to feel like the greatest man that he is. You want him to feel like there's no motherfucking competition. You want him to feel, yes, honey, I see you, I understand you, I get you, and go roar, motherfucker, roar. That's what you want him to do. You want to bring out that beast in him. Say hello to it. If it scares you, you need to figure out why it scares you and overcome that shit. Because the more you tap into a man's beast, their power, their strength, their aggression, their nature to pursue, their nature to win, all that passion and desire and all that stuff, love you want, that shit will come flowing, overflowing into your life. But you cannot be scared of that beast. You cannot shy away from that beast. You can't ask him to hide away and tame that goddamn beast, because when you do that, you're killing him from the inside out. And eventually he's going to find someone who awakens that beast within him and brings him the fuck back to life. Why do we shackle men and then we're surprised when they rebel or become mutes? Yes. We want to restrict them on what they can or cannot do, what their interests are, where they are, what they're doing. You didn't do that when you met him. So why are you doing it now? Why can't you just let him be? The happier he is, the more space he has, the happier he's going to be inclined to make you happy. Then you say, well, he's not responsible. That's not how he's supposed to be. If you give men a chance, and I'm assuming most men, like women, have some good goddamn sense, and men really want to make you happy. If you give them the space to do so, more than likely you're going to do so. But if you're distrustful, disrespectful, unappreciative, he's going to pick up on that. And he's going to blatantly lie, cheat, or do whatever. Or he's going to become disengaged, disinterested, and just there. You decide what type of relationship you want. But I say take the shackles off of them. They're not animals. They're not children. They're a different type of human being who's wired different, have different needs, and approach life much differently. So what are you willing to do to be desired and cherished? Yes. A lot of us say, pay attention to me. I want more time from you. How can we be? What happened to us? Why isn't this way? Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. But I'm asking you, what are you willing to do to make that shit happen? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to change? What initiative are you willing to take to go after to get what the fuck you want? Men are easy. We as women have the key. We got to get that key, put the key in the ignition and turn that car on and basically rev the engine. That's all you need to do to get the man going. And at that point in time, he will automatically know what the fuck to do to take the hell over. But you have to give him a chance. You have to be willing to give him a chance. And you have to be willing to be the woman that you are and to be feminine and do all those soft things that make them be the strong, confident, conquering man that you want them to be. Do you know how to change your life by changing how you view and love men? If you change your view of men in general and you love them, respect them, appreciate the male form, their voice and how they do everything, that will change how you are, and you will become such a dynamic, vivacious, charismatic woman, because men will automatically pick up on that and want to engage and want to talk with you. But you have to choose. Do you want to keep having the type of life and relationships that you had? Or if you want to up your motherfucking A game, step that shit up and go after and get what the fuck you want. It's a choice. If it was me, and I got a relationship, I would do some research and get my A game on, because I would not be repeating the same shit over and over again. It's like, motherfucker, I already lived my life of deprivation. Now I'm going to have everything I want and need. I'm going to get that shit, and I know how to get that shit. That's the type of approach you have to take. We want men to take initiative, but we can't take initiative for our own happiness. And I'm saying, change your view, change how you view men, and watch your life change. The sky is the limit. Finally, I want to ask you, do you know why men are not your enemy? Yeah, we treat men like they are public enemy number one. Men cheat, women cheat. Women lie, men lie. Men manipulate, women manipulate. It's not exclusive to one gender or the other. So we need to stop looking at men as naturally as villains, naturally as nincompoops, naturally as failures, and see them as beasts, winning, successful, powerful men who will do as much as possible to make you happy. If you understand that men really want to make you happy, they want to help you, that changes how you view them, that softens you. That makes you more understanding. It makes you more compassionate. It makes you more loving. It makes you more attractive. It makes you more desirable, and it makes you have more passion in your life. Men are not our enemies. And I know people have presented it to be the case. And maybe in some forms of fashion, there's lots of inequality. You're right. Gender inequality. But when you're in a relationship, you have to play your role, know your part, and play it with your A game. You can't bring weak ass bullshit to your relationship and wonder why you keep getting the same results you're getting. Take the initiative. Watch men, study men. Now, I have something I want to share with you that I've been noticing lately. When I am out and about, I like to sit back and look at people, really see people, and see what they're like and try to understand what's going on in their life. And one thing I will tell you from what I see, there's a lot of men, if not most men, who are unfulfilled, unhappy, depleted, beaten down, misunderstood, unheard, unappreciated, disrespected. The list goes on and on. And when I look at these people, I'm thinking, who in the fuck would want to live a life like this? But this is normal. Men walk around like motherfucking drones. Women walk around like they have a fucking wooden stick that they beat them over the head with. This dynamic cannot work. This dynamic won't work. This dynamic does not bring happiness. That is why when women like me are out and about in motherfuckers' presence, that's why they gravitate to people like me, women like me, like moths on a flame. Because women like me see them, listen to them, appreciate them, work to understand them, strive to make them feel good and happy, and inflate their fucking ego so much that their goddamn head wants to burst. And then when you do that, You have more and more and more and more of them coming for you, looking at you, lurking, stalking you, wanting to talk with you, wanting to be in your presence, want to touch you, to be around you. They can sense that shit. We as women need to do a better job at being women for men. These guys should not walk around looking so miserable. When they're miserable, we're miserable as women, and we should not want that. We should strive to want to put a smile on men's faces, because the happier you make them, the happier they're going to make you. They will give you the world. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, you think I'm full of shit, I'm fine with that. But when you have a mate that doesn't have a voice, that's not being heard, understood, who's being made to feel that he needs to become more feminine and soft, where he's feeling uncomfortable and he locks away his beast, you are asking for problems. A man needs to feel that beast of his, and he needs to feel comfortable displaying that. A man needs to feel like a man. You need to make him feel like a goddamn king. Now, I'm not saying rub his fucking feet. What I'm saying is you got to know how to talk to him, how to handle him, to make him feel his best so he can make you feel your best. We have to do better to get better, to have better. We have to do that shit. Otherwise, these dysfunctional marriages and relationships is going to tear us all apart and make us all depleted, unhappy people. It's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to surrender. It's okay to be flirtatious. It's okay to be beautiful and to use that shit. Wouldn't you want a man, the ultimate man, to make you feel like the ultimate woman? When you make him feel like a god, guess what a god has? A god has a goddess. You make him feel like a god, he will make you feel like a goddess. You make him feel like a king, he will make you feel like a queen. They go hand in hand. You can't make him feel like a god and feel like a motherfucking peasant. No, he will seek out the one who makes him feel like a god, and he will put her up on the highest pedestal always and forever. So if you have any questions for me, you ask that shit. But I really want you guys to take a moment and think. We as women have the key, the tools, the intuition to tell men things that will bring them to life, that will spark them and make them want to serve and deliver us with enthusiasm. But you got to know your part, play your role, and play that shit to win. So please come back and join me next week. Are you disappointed this has come to an end? Well, it doesn't have to. Reach out and let me know what you think about this episode and my podcast. You can try and slide into my DM, but I will kick your ass out. So I suggest you hop into my DM on Instagram at Difficult and Demanding, or Twitter at Mrs. D&D, or leave a comment on one of my posts. Here we go again. It's the worst part. We've come together again just to part ways. But here is the good news. I'll come back to you really soon. Does that make you feel good? It should, because episode 63 is here on February 1st, 2019 from the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast.